What's going on, everybody? Jesse here at Bay Boy Views, coming at you once again. Today we got a kind of off topic. We're not talking about books. We're not talking about all that. We're gonna be getting into some news. So here's a couple of things I found kind of interesting this week. So we got number one, Jordan Peterson's re-education program. Yes, you heard me. You said it right. Re-education. Right. Then we got Candace Owens. She's dropping a documentary on X. Should be coming now. And then we got her going on the Whatever podcast. Hilarious. Vivek debating again. Another guy. His name is Mahid Hassan, and he wrote the book Win Every Argument. All right. And he works for MSNBC. So, and then we got, last but not least, world's biggest entrepreneur, Elon Musk versus ADL, and what's going on with that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got JP, Jordan Peterson. As per the courts in Ontario and the student or the college out there in Ontario, they have requested for Jordan Peterson to be re-educated on the use of social media. All right. So I didn't know that Jordan Peterson is a savage on Twitter or on X, but he's a savage on there. And so what's on the line? What's on the line is Jordan Peterson's license to practice in his field that he's been in for over 20 years. What else is going on is that he is forcibly being re-educated thanks to Trudeau, and we all know how I feel about Trudeau. So let me just tell you a story to let you know what Trudeau's character actually is. All right. So this, I'm not bullshitting you. All right. This is real video. You can look it up right now. So Trudeau was having an argument with the opposition, Perrier. Sorry if I don't get your name right, but he is the opposition in the Conservative Party, where we have Justin Trudeau in the Liberal Party. All right. So Justin Trudeau just went on a $60,000 trip to some island, all paid for by the CCP, by China, right? So this sounds funky enough, right? What if Biden accepted a $60,000 trip by, I don't know, let's say Russia, right? That would look crazy, right? So back on topic. Perrier starts going on and off about him because obviously Trudeau's policies are getting influenced by somebody, right? And who else than the guys that'll take them on a $60,000 trip to some island? And this would be the normal cost of it if anybody else like us was to hop on this. So it didn't cost him a dime. So they start arguing and they start saying, are you going to pay back China with our tax money? And it's kind of funny because they like stop and then they go to the next guy. Stop, go to the next guy. It was like, no, that was a free trip by friends that I have relationships with. China. No, obviously, Perrier doesn't understand the concept of friendship, and he just lost me right there, all right? So we've all seen what's going on with Trudeau out there. We all see what's going on. He's some puppet for some figurehead, and I don't know, maybe it's China. So that is the person that's telling Jordan Peterson that he doesn't know, and he needs to be re-educated on the use of social media. Why? Because he retweeted a tweet that Justin Perrier or not Justin Perrier, but Perrier retweeted and said some pretty mean stuff towards Justin Trudeau. So there's this law called the freedom of speech over there in Canada too, just like America. And they said, you know what? I didn't like that. How do I use my power to make sure that Jordan Peterson knows that not to fuck with me? So this is how they conjured this thing up. Jordan Peterson goes on a podcast with his daughter, and they start talking about how this is going to be a very, very, very public re-education program. Everybody's going to be re-educated. I'm going to have 100% cameras on me 24/7 during these trials, during all this crap. So the ball's in your court, Trudeau. What do you want to do? So we're still waiting to see what happens. He's been on a couple podcasts lately. I just thought that was a cool thing, and I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. All right, so number 2, we got Candace Owens. You guys know I love this girl. She's great. I think that she's hilarious. I think the way she sees statistics instead of going through feelings is great. And honestly, I learned a lot about her by her. So she was on the Whatever podcast. As we know, she's very, very conservative. Very, very. They go onto this podcast and, they start stepping on religion a little bit. They start, and the real Candace Owens comes out. She's like, why are you wearing that cross for? You got this, or made by the devil t-shirt, but you're wearing a cross. It was like very contradictory. And, she's very religious. Then they start talking about marriage, and then there's this sex therapist on there, but her therapy sessions are her sleeping with the husband or being the third son. Candace always wasn't having none of that. So I thought it was hilarious. She was putting her 2 cents in, being very arrogant, but it was hilarious nonetheless. And yeah, I think she did a great job on there. I thought it was funny. She got off halfway through the podcast, so she wasn't there for the whole thing. And that's kind of where I stopped watching too. But Whatever podcast, that was hilarious. Glad have her on there more, please. And then she's dropping a documentary about some serial killer or something happened. I haven't gone and watched it yet. I'm just letting you guys know there's a documentary out. Candace Owens dropping it on X. Go check it out. It should be today or tomorrow, but go check it out. All right, so next one, number 3, Vivek Ramaswamy at it again, debating, hitting all these hard questions, and he's just not backing down. All right, he's not backing down. He's doing a great job on his run to presidency. Do I think he's gonna beat Trump? No. Do I think he's beating DeSantis right now? Yeah. Do I think anybody else in the Republican Party is getting anywhere close to him? I think there's Tim Scott, Ron DeSantis. I'm actually going for Doug. I hope Doug does better. But yeah, that's basically it. So he goes on this. He goes on with the MSNBC host, and this guy wrote the book "Win Every Argument." His name is Mahid Hassan. I've never heard of him. I actually saw him on Rattlesnake TV, and I thought this was hilarious. So I'm gonna bring a couple of things that they touched on. All right, so I didn't know this, but Vivek has released 20 years of tax documents to the public. It is out in the open. You guys can Google it right now, and you will find 20 years worth of this guy's tax documents. All right, and we know that he's doing great. He's doing a great job on all these debates, on all these interviews. He's getting the point across great on the internet. But now he's on MSNBC. He's on one of the main cable stations. They're going to rip him a new one, or at least they're going to try to, right? So who do they bring? They bring this guy, the guy that wrote the book, Win Every Argument. So this wasn't going to be an easy one. I don't know this guy, but I heard that he's a great conversationalist. So another thing I didn't know, all right, is that he actually accepted $50,000 as a scholarship from the Soros Foundation. All right, so he cleared it up. He said that it was from the other Soros, not George Soros that we all know and are starting to see, but his brother, who is no longer alive. I don't remember his name, but that Soros. So they bring that up. I think that was a great thing to talk about. Um, Obviously, the guy's dead, so there is no real seeing his history. I'm not going to look into it. I think that he's a genuine character, and I'm going to leave it alone. So the guy that writes the book, Hassan, is very known for cutting everybody off. That's what his book, that's his premise of, making sure that the other person doesn't have a counter argument. You can see it in it's a very hard debate to watch because they're just talking over each other the entire time. Vivek is talking over him, he's talking over Vivek. They're not having a real conversation, and you can see in Vivek's face that he is getting irritated, bro. Like, I was irritated just watching the video. And he's just like, you guys got me out here, and he starts calling out the media, right? The whole entire media is like, you guys create hypothetical situations. What if I was the vice president? What if? How about we have a genuine conversation, right? This is a freaking joke, and I don't want to play this game, but we can have this game of gotcha, or we can have a real conversation with some substance. So I was like, damn, all right. He just called them out on national TV. It was like, I'm not gonna be out here bullshitting with y'all. All right, so unless you want to talk to me about something serious, my crew and I got shit to do, but we can play slapback all day, clapbacks all day. So I thought that he did a great job over there. I think that Hassan really did put pressure on him, and I'm glad. And I'm glad that somebody's putting pressure on him. And you can see that this guy's character, he is not taking shit from nobody. Unless you got a solid thing to run on, I'm not going to sit here and play with you. All right? They did. I don't want to say anybody went away with the win. I think that, the biggest takeaway for me was just seeing Vivek's character and seeing how he handled a stressful situation and showed real sense of leadership, because he didn't just fall for nobody's game. He cut straight through the bullshit, and just like he's saying that he's going to do this same thing that he's doing now as a president, I think that he's got a good shot, and he's doing great on this campaign. All right, so he did call. So Hassan, thank you, you did a great job. So you brought up that, so Vivek got caught up, right? Vivek started, he had some Twitter fingers back in the day. So he was tweeting a bad thing about Trump. He was saying that how he handled the situation of, I don't remember what, but he said a real bad thing about Trump, and he was like, I can't, like, he was trying to ruin his reputation on Twitter or something, right? So the he couldn't back up on the argument, right? Because he is on MSNBC, and he cannot get caught in, being looked at as the bad guy. He has to keep his image up. He has to have all this stuff up. So I understand. I think if he was like on a longer, like if he was like on a Joe Rogan podcast and they brought that up, if he was on a Jordan Peterson podcast and they brought that up, I think that they would have allowed him to speak and to be truthful about it, or at least to be a little bit more vulnerable about it. But he is on national TV with somebody that wants to tarnish his reputation, and that is going to be cutthroat about it, and that is when you start stumbling, and now the next person is going to have a chance to get at you, and the next person. So I think he handled himself very well. But he did say that Trump failed to bring the country together, and that's why I'm running for president, because that is my goal, to do and he's been spewing it the entire campaign. All right. So it was a great video to depict. It was irritating to watch, but great nonetheless. So the next one, we got Elon and ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. All right, so I didn't know much about these people. I didn't know that they existed, but here we go. So Elon Musk, owner of Twitter. All right, so the owner of Twitter, the Anti-Defamation League has a reputation of going after people on these platforms like Facebook and all that, and getting their profiles shut down, making sure that everybody on the internet is safe. So I don't know much about them, but what I do know is Elon was pissed, and he is going after these guys for some reason, right? And you have to wonder why, right? So the ADL, so I believe Elon Musk is accusing the ADL of going behind their backs and going and contacting the advertisement people that Elon is trying to get on Twitter. And it was about 2.2, if I have the numbers right, it was about $2.2 billion with a B that he would have had a deal for. So I'm guessing that you know the ADL has some power over these advertisement people, and when they say, hey, jump, they jumped. And Elon Musk was like, hey, I can't have you messing up my business, so I'm suing you. And on top of that, you have a whole bunch of conversations here with Twitter, so now I'm a Epstein you and blackmail you. Not like that, but I'm going to blackmail you, and I'm gonna release all the conversations that you and the ADL and Twitter have had together, and I'm going to show the public exactly what's been going on in behind Twitter for these years. And on top of that, I'm gonna sue you. So you're gonna have, I don't know what the heck is in this. I believe it's gonna be like another file dump, like the Twitter files. Uh, what do I think is gonna happen? I don't know. I'm kind of uh, glad to hear about it, honestly, because I think this is hilarious. Uh, So we all know that Elon Musk he is beneath that. All right, he will do it. I think we all know that he is petty as hell. All right, and I think that this is gonna be something that is either gonna be one, it's gonna blow over tomorrow, or two, it's gonna be a long. We're gonna be hearing about this for a long time. So, if you guys made it to the end of the video, these are all the topics I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.